When we are looking to boost our metabolism so that we can lose weight and lose the fat, we are often approaching it from the wrong angle. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what the wrong angle is and what you need to be doing more of so that you can succeed this year on achieving your health goals. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee Calloway, a holistic nutritionist and integrative health practitioner, plus personal trainer. I help women perfect their periods and hormones so that they can have optimal future fertility. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about weight loss, fat loss, and boosting our metabolisms without messing up our hormones. Because oftentimes when we set health goals around weight loss and fat loss, we are often harming our metabolism, which is linked to our hormones. So, what is this one thing that people are doing that is harming themselves? Well, let's start with this. You have probably heard about eat less, move more. And while that seems to be the guideline for most of the population, that isn't necessarily very helpful. It can actually be a lot more harmful because the thing is maybe you do need to eat less of the junk food, but you need to be eating more of the healthy, nurturing foods. Because when you're eating nurturing foods, you can only eat so much of it, right? Like you can only eat so much lettuce. You can only eat so much protein before you're really, really full. Versus like if you're eating a bag of chips, you could eat a whole bag, right? And be like, oh, I feel not great afterwards, but it was easy to eat the whole bag. So, this saying of eating less and moving more really doesn't help women out when they are looking to lose weight and lose the stubborn fat. So, here's the thing that is missing when it comes to boosting your metabolism and losing the weight, and that is eating more. Yes, I'm telling you to eat more. Oftentimes, I find women are not eating enough whole foods nutrition to feed their body. So, what ends up happening is they're not getting enough of these nutrients, which brings us to point number one. When we are under eating and not eating the right foods, like actual real food, what ends up happening is that you aren't meeting your nutrient requirements. This means you're not getting the vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other nutrients you need for long-term health. And you need this for your future fertility, for optimal period health, because when we don't have enough of these minerals and nutrients, you could experience more periods pains. Plus, of course, that weight isn't going to want to come off because what is happening is the weight wants to stay on because it feels malnourished. It's not getting enough of those nutrients. So it doesn't feel safe to lose the weight. When it really comes to weight loss or fat loss, it's about your body feeling safe. So when your body feels like it's starving, it's not going to want to lose the weight. That's a big thing that women don't seem to understand in their head, even sometimes men. So there are four things that are happening when you are not eating enough real food and nutrient dense foods. Number one is you won't meet your nutrient requirements. And that means your body is going to feel like it's actually starving, even though you are eating. And this is because it's missing out on those vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other nutrients your body needs to feel safe and to feel healthy long term. So, when we don't have enough minerals in our body, for example, our adrenal and thyroid health can really go downhill. And let me tell you, when your thyroid isn't optimal, your metabolism is going to go down. And when your metabolism goes down, you're not going to be able to lose the weight. So, making sure you are eating nutrient dense foods is so important for the body because then the body's going to feel safe and it's going to want to lose the weight. Plus, your metabolism is going to also be boosted at the same time. Number two, When you are not eating enough, your body is going to start slowing down its metabolism. And this happens because your body thinks it's starving. So even though you're trying to eat less and putting yourself in a calorie deficit, which many of us try to do to lose weight, you're harming your metabolism long term. So now your body is in this starvation mode. So it starts to break down muscle, which we do not want, because muscle is going to help boost our metabolism. It's what helps us be more insulin sensitive and all these other benefits. So it's going to break down the muscle in order for it to get glucose, because the body needs energy. So it's going to do that no matter what. And the way it's doing that is breaking down muscle, which is not what we want. We technically want to lose fat, not muscle. So that's a big no-no. And the other thing you have to understand is your body's not messing up. It's trying to conserve energy. Plus, it's also making sure you have enough energy to function. And at the same time, down the road, some symptoms you can experience from a slower metabolism are that you might feel more sluggish, you might feel cold, you might have some gastrointestinal abnormalities, constipation might happen for some of you. So those are all things that can start to happen when your metabolism slows down. And it's really something we do not want. We want to be boosting our metabolism when it comes to weight loss and fat loss. Number 3, you're going to start to notice that you're losing your mental clarity. You might be experiencing some brain fog. Now, this isn't going to happen right away when you start eating less. It's going to happen later down the road. So if you've been doing a calorie deficit diet, for example, or gone on a really strict diet where you're not nourishing your body enough, all of a sudden, 3-4 months down the road, however long it takes you, it depends basically on the reserves that your body had before going into this diet, is you're now going to start to feel run down mentally. You could be experiencing brain fog, more like you just won't have that edge and that productivity, because basically what's happening is now your brain is running on fumes and it just can't keep going. So you just won't be able to run at peak capacity. It's like trying to drive your car without gasoline. You're not going to get very far. So that's eventually what can happen. And then number 4 is for those of you who decide to be skipping meals. Maybe you're only having 2 meals a day, you're skipping breakfast. The problem with this is I often find if you're only eating 2 meals a day, oftentimes you're not eating enough calories. So yeah, you're eating less and you're usually skipping breakfast for most of you. I'm just generalizing this, which means that that can lead to more stress in the body. Now, the body's more stressed because in the morning, it's not getting the energy fuel it needs to function. So what ends up happening, you're going to start messing around with blood sugar and insulin. And that is something we also don't want, because that can put on weight. It can throw our metabolism off and all of those things. And when it comes to weight loss and boosting your metabolism, you need to have balanced blood sugars and insulin sensitivity. So skipping meals is not recommended, because really what it all comes down to is you're not eating enough. For the most part, 2 meals a day, it's hard to eat all your calories in 2 meals, for example. So those are the 4 things that could be happening to your body over time when you are eating less and you've put yourself in a calorie deficit, or if you've put yourself on a restrictive diet. That can also occur. And as I've mentioned, this can also happen even if you're just not eating a healthy diet. You're just eating the standard American diet. It's not nourishing enough. So your body can still go through these problems because it's not getting the nourishment it needs. So you can be putting on the pounds just from that as well. That's why it's so important that we eat enough nutrient-dense foods. That's what it comes down to. We need to be eating enough. And what it also really comes down to is that we have to be redefining what food is, because we often say that, oh, it's a restrictive diet if we're not allowing ourselves to eat the chips or whatever you can find on the grocery shelves that is prepackaged. And the problem with that is those foods did not exist 100 years ago. And you have to keep in mind, 100 years ago, we weren't having all these period problems, all these other chronic health issues, these weight issues. And that's because these foods were not available to us. So I know fad diets, restrictive eating gets a bad rep, and I totally agree. But also, eating healthy, eating just a general plant-based diet or Mediterranean diet is healthy. It's not restrictive. It shouldn't fall into those categories that some people are like, oh, you're on this diet, right? We need to view food differently. We can't constantly keep telling ourselves that it is okay to eat Cheerios or the chips and those things, right? Of course, like now and then we all have it because it's available to us in this day and age. But I also don't want you to view it as a food because it's not feeding you nutrition. It's not giving you those nutrients that your body needs. It's just going to be broken down and basically eliminated. So keep that in mind and start thinking about how you are thinking about food. And that is a note I want to leave you on. I want you to be assessing how you are looking at food, and are you eating enough nutrient dense foods so that you can be boosting your metabolism? Because I tell you, if you're boosting your metabolism, you're feeding your body properly, the weight loss will come. The hormonal health will come. All right. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss the next video.